All right. All right. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is season 4, episode number 8 of the P.W.P Sessions podcast. I am your host, Noelle Figueroa. Tonight's guest is Hattress Barbour, and I'm happy to get this conversation going. Thank you for joining me tonight.
No, thank you for having me. I definitely appreciate the platform, bro.
No doubt, no doubt. Now, for those of you that are not familiar with this podcast, the PWP Sessions or the Poets with Purpose Sessions podcast is a podcast that I created where I interview new or established authors of poetry, rappers, or MCs, featuring a performance of their work along with an audience Q&A session. I am the Anointed Pen, Noelle Figueroa. I am a poet, author, blogger, workshop facilitator, and event host. And tonight's guest is Hattress Barbour, and this is his bio.
That's a
Hattress is
long
a dynamic.
bio.
Trust, bro, I've seen longer. I've seen longer, trust me. That's why I be asking for short ones, but this is
Yeah.
good though. Hattress is a dynamic performer, host, and educator whose passion for poetry and community has taken him to iconic stages and platforms. From captivating audiences at the legendary Apollo Theater to being featured by Dove Men's Care in a powerful commercial on community care, his voice resonates deeply across mediums. As an educator with the Brotherhood Sister Soul organization, Hattress is dedicated to educating, activating, and training Black and Brown youth, empowering them to become agents of change and, most importantly, use their voice. In
Mm.
addition to his work in education, Hattress is the owner of the Poetry LLC, a company committed to using writing and spoken word poetry as tools to educate and inspire, while also creating community events that push culture forward in a positive direction, changing the world one stanza at a time. His work has also been featured on the BET network during the George Floyd Memorial Special, and he has graced the stage at SOBs, further cementing his impact in the arts. Hattress is also a published author of the book If Ever We Were, which was released in 2020 and has sold over 5,000 copies, reflecting his ability to connect with readers and audiences alike. Explore more of his work and journey at iamhattress.com. Now, ladies and gentlemen, here is Hattress. Peace, brother. How you doing, man?
I don't even know what to say after that. It's crazy. And I wrote that bio. But yeah, I'm good.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Nah, man, that's some serious credentials you got there, man. And I appreciate you taking the time to speak with me so we could, learn more about you, your work, and about you as a person. I mean, I appreciate your time.
No,
So,
I appreciate you. And the credentials aren't nothing. Like, that's like whatever. Like, I'm here on earth to do things. That's just some of the things I've done.
yeah, yeah, no doubt, no doubt. So who is Hattress? Like, how would you define yourself or describe yourself?
Oh, man. Um, I think that's a tough question for anybody to answer, right? Like, but I think that I have a multitude of different roles that I go in and out of right now. I would classify myself as a partner and a father first before anything, right? Before I'm a poet, before I'm a writer, before I'm anything, like I have a household that I got to take care of. So like that's where I've been I guess having the difficulty of stretching myself in and then also finding comfort in understanding like I have people who need me and love me, and there's yes, there's an obligation, but there's also like I don't know the word, like just having family creates like a purpose sometimes, like poets with purpose, like the my family is my purpose, and because of my purpose, I can poet.
Right,
So like
right.
that's where I'm at now, and I'm leaning more into it now. And I'm just blessed, bro. Like outside of that, I'm an educator. I'm a writer. I'm a rapper. I'm a poet. I'm all of these things. But like, it starts with my family first.
That's what's up. That's what up. That's the most important thing, no doubt.
Yeah.
But how did you get started in poetry? What got you into poetry?
Yeah. Okay. So I always tell people there's two answers, right? So it's like, okay, how did I get started writing poetry? I can give you that answer real quick. So I got started writing poetry. I think in like it was like probably middle school. And it was like Def Poetry Jam time.
Mhm.
And so like the Russell Simmons Def Poetry Jam, I was watching. Um, some of the icons like Erykah Badu graced that stage, Common graced that stage, Kanye West graced that stage. I don't know if we say Kanye's name anymore because there's a lot going on, but like some of the iconic individuals graced that stage. But then I also got to be introduced to some of the legendary artists of our times, like legendary poets of our time, like Black Ice, right? Like I wouldn't have known who a Black Ice was. He's from Philly. I'm from New York. I wasn't in poetry. I didn't know who that is, and now I can honestly say like I can hit him up, and like that's a beautiful thing to like know that one of his poems inspired me to ever write. Period. Right, and it's like I actually know this person in real life. Like that's a beautiful thing. So that's when I started writing. When I started performing, fairly new. I think I'm less than 10 years in performance wise. So I think I started performing when I moved back to New York. I was probably around like 27. And that's super late compared to people who grew up in slam, people who were on a high school slam team, college slam team.
Wow.
So I was super unfamiliar with the landscape, with the audience, with the culture of it. So I really took a few years to just learn, like going to New York, going to Bowery, going to these places and just like observing as an audience member of like this is the art form that I want to do, but it's like I don't know how to do this thing. So I tell people all the time, I'm a writer first, I'm a performer second. I had
Right,
to learn
right.
how to do that.
True, true. That's what's up. Now, like when you first started writing poetry, what were the first subjects you started writing about?
And my first poem was about giving birth to a daughter.
Mm.
I had to be like 14, bro. And it was like that didn't make no sense. Like, why am I doing this? But I remember that poem vividly, um, because it was a poem about giving birth to my daughter, but it was more so a poem about my relationship with my father. Um, and I didn't know what I was doing, but I knew I needed to get these feelings out, and I had these feelings, and it was horrible. It was a horrible poem, right? Like it sucked. Like, but now I look back at it, and that was the foundation, right? Like the foundation of me learning to convey my emotions in written form in a way that's therapeutic for me, because that's what it started as. It started as therapy. So that's how I tackle all of my poems now. Like I don't think about the audience until after it's done. Then we can fit you in there somewhere. But before that, this is a very selfish art form that I practice, right? Like I'm writing this as a participant and not for someone, right? Like I'm writing this from the I all the time. And I think that's something that has kept me grounded in my art.
Right, right. And when you as you were progressing with your poetry, like from the time you started, like up to the present time, like what do you give credit, like who or what do you give credit to into helping you develop your writing? Like you mentioned going to slams and whatnot to gain experience, but who or what else would you give credit to helping you develop your own style of writing poetry?
Reading, reading. I'm an avid reader. My favorite author too is literally, and it sounds cliche, but it's like when you look at the work, it's like, yeah, this is crazy. Like Maya Angelou and James Baldwin,
Yeah,
two
yeah.
favorite, well versed. And then also like I think both as Black people were able to talk about more than just Black issues. And that's what I loved about them. Like they were able to tug at heartstrings in a way through their writing that surpassed race and ethnicity. It tapped into the humanity of people, and that's what I want my work to do. Like those are my idols. Those are the people that I'm competing with in my head. It's like, damn, like okay, we're gonna talk about Black Power, cool. And how do I frame this in a way that someone who never had this experience can actually feel? Because like I feel like people who haven't gone through certain things are numb to it when you just say it. So how do I set this scene so that someone who's never experienced this pain, this agony, this longing, this like you know what I mean, this misplacement, how do I frame this sentence in a way that someone who has a totally different life experience from me can resonate with. And I think they did a really good job at that in all their years of writing.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. Both are definitely on my radar as inspirations, but I would have to say for myself more so Maya.
Mm.
I'm familiar with both, but Maya, caught my attention more and I lean towards her more. Nothing against Baldwin.
No, I get it. I
No.
get it. I
But
get
I
it.
mean, it's like Maya is like mother. She's mother Maya to me. She's like mother of the movement. You know what I mean? So it's like,
Yes.
and
Yes.
it's her poetry, kind of resonated with me. And I lean on her for her wisdom and the way she carried herself and how she elevated her people. And she was always eloquent and intelligent, you know,
Hmm.
and with her subject matter, it just caught my attention. And with her story, how she came about, was inspiration to me.
Being mute for so many years because she
Yeah.
thought she killed her uncle with
Yeah.
her work. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that is poetic in itself.
Yeah,
Like, her life
exactly.
was poetry, right? So it was
Exactly.
just like, that's crazy. But listen, check out some of the James Baldwin and Maya Angelou conversations. Like, I like James Baldwin's writing, but I also loved him in conversation with other people. Like, so
Right,
just
right.
watching those, like those interviews, him and Nikki Giovanni. I love
Yeah,
Nikki Giovanni.
especially that
So,
one, especially
you know
him
what I
and
mean?
they were diving into it.
And just the relationship between men and women, and like,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, he's coming from a certain perspective, she's coming from a different perspective. They're
Yeah.
still holding the conversation and not like attacking each other. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like,
Exactly. They were,
knowing how to converse with people. Like, it was a
yeah.
beautiful thing to see. And I try to model certain things from what I've seen. Now I'm like, oh, now this is amazing. This is dope. Like, I need to put this into like my little arsenal of like conversational skills when I
Yeah,
talk to people who I
exactly.
might not agree with. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Exactly. And do you find yourself writing certain subjects of poetry more than others, or do you feel you're the type of person that you just write whatever it is comes to your mind and to your heart?
I don't know if you can relate to this because I'm asking for like, yeah, I mean, I'm asking because I don't know because I don't know what's happening with me right now. You know what I mean? Like, because I'm in a stage of I'm in a state like when I first started doing this thing, it was therapeutic. It was like I saw visions and I wrote them,
Right.
right? And everything was just a concept in my mind that I wrote that it was a feeling that I was writing from.
Mhm.
And somewhere along the way, I think I lost my way, if I'm being honest, because then I started producing work. And once you start producing work, are you an artist anymore or are you a capitalist? Are you a manufacturer? Right? Like,
Right.
so that's where I got there and now I'm slowly getting back to the I'm gonna write when it's time. I'm
Right.
gonna write when I have something to say. I'm
Right.
gonna write when I feel inclined to say this thing. Um, and so I'm not in the mode of producing anymore. I still rap, like because like that keeps a pin sharp for me.
Right.
But like for my poetry, it takes me a while. Like I'm working on a poem right now about like why black people don't swim,
Mhm.
right? But that's a whole history lesson.
Right.
So it's like I'm doing research. I'm trying to, like, you know what I mean? I'm trying to figure out things. And that's my little personal project that is bringing me so much joy. Cause like
Right.
whenever I get a little bit of time, like I come up with a line, but then I got to research some things and give evidence for this thing and try to figure out how to intertwine it in the poem. So like I find my little pockets of joy in the production now. But before it was just, yo, I'm just getting this off my chest. And now it's like, I'm trying to say something that needs to be said that hasn't been said already, or a fresh angle that hasn't been explored, or like, you know what I mean? Like, or just something that can shift the conversation. 'Cause, like, I'm tired of 50-50. I'm tired of Pop the Balloon. I'm tired of women against men. I'm tired of all of these things. So it's like, let's get back to the real conversations that need to happen.
Right. Right. Now, what has been what has been people's reactions to your work? Like when people like either read your poetry or hear you perform your poetry, what has some of the commentary been like?
Yeah. I don't know. I just feel like that's a little self-serving for me to be like, yo, they love my shit. Like, you know what I mean? But I think that author Hattress and spoken word Hattress are two different experiences.
Oh, I see. I see.
Um, so like my book, like I said, I paid homage to Maya with my first book, right? Because it's like there's some poems in there that are written in her voice, right? Like are written with her in mind. Um, and I think my written work is a lot more simplified, a lot more emotion based. I think some of my spoken word can be a little bit more jarring, a little bit more provocative. Just the nature of the stage, right?
Right,
Like
right.
when you on a stage, like it's a performance, right? So it may be overperformed sometimes, but the reaction has always been like, well, not well. I can't tell you how other people react to the work that I put out there. I mean, some people like it, some people don't, right? Like I don't know,
Mhm.
but I just hope that the message lands every single time. I can't really control how people feel about it, but like
Right.
I think my duty is to come here and say things that are true to me, and it will resonate with the people that it needs to resonate with, and the people that it don't, that's okay too, right?
Right.
Like that's how I feel.
Absolutely. And I feel the same way because it's all about, saying what you feel. Because I'm a firm believer in being transparent with what I say. I don't consider myself to be a performance poet. So, what I mean? I'm all about content. So my focus for myself is making sure that I have something to say. That way, when I'm reading my poetry, people are hearing what I'm saying and understanding where I'm coming from,
Hmm.
and and they can get their own perspectives from it. But the main goal is for somebody to get something out of whatever it is I have to say. So
Hmm.
I agree with you, and in speaking from the heart and just being yourself. And whoever gets it. Whoever doesn't, because your work
Doesn't it?
is for everybody anyway. You're
That's
not
a
we're
fact.
not going to be for everybody, but we're going to be for somebody. Somebody
Yeah.
feel what you're saying, and that's what
So
matters at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
I have this ritual before a show, like every show, like literally, I pray before every show. Like
Mhm.
before I go on stage, I pray, and like one of the things I say to God, I was like, God, let me touch one person.
Right.
And that is enough for me. Like, you
Right.
know what I'm saying? Like
Exactly.
that means I was here for a reason, just one person, right?
Right.
Like I don't need the oohs and ahs and the standing ovation. I don't need that. But let one person leave here feeling connected to something
Exactly.
that I said. And that's all that matters for me.
Exactly, exactly. That's the main thing. That's the main thing. Now, when you decided to put a book together, what was that process like for you to put the book together?
Oh man. Tiresome, bro. So when I put the book together, I've been working on that book for my entire life, right? So it's like since I was 15, 16, I started writing poetry. And because of technology, I was able to keep up with a lot of, my old work. So that book has transformed and evolved over the years. Book cover transformed and evolved over the years. So it was a process, but honestly, it was the birth of my son why it actually came out. Because like my son was born in random story. I don't even think nobody else knows the story, but um, my son was born in July of 2020. My father died June of 2020. And me and my father had like a real estranged relationship. I was going back and forth about naming my son Hattress after me because my father's name is also Hattress. And because of our kind of damaged relationship, I was like, yo, like, I don't even know if this is a curse. I don't want to brand him for the rest of his life.
Right.
And literally, my pops died in June. And I went to the funeral off the strength of who my mother raised me to be and not my pops. And I mean, and then because I'm a poet, and my father's side of the family, who I don't even know like that, knows that I'm a poet. They're like, yo, you got to speak at the funeral. So now I got to speak at my father's funeral, and I have some real like resentment for him, right? So it's
Right.
like, and as a poet, I don't want to lie. I don't
Right.
want to get up there and not tell the truth. So it's like, so I was conflicted with that. Like, what am I going to write for this? Like, I don't even want to be here, but I'm here.
Right.
And like, if it wasn't for my sister who pulled up, and like I had something written that was like really bitter.
Mhm.
And when I saw my sister, I was on this. A movie couldn't even script this, bro. I was on the mic, and I
Right.
had just started talking, and my sister walked into the church, and my sister raised me after my mom's passed away. My sister raised me,
Right.
but my pop should have been raising me because he was still alive. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's
Right.
like when I saw her, it reminded me of my mother, and I was like, my moms would not want me to dishonor this man right now.
Right.
She picked him. That's why I'm here. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, let me honor my moms by honoring him too.
Right.
And so, like, I don't even know what took over me, but I ended up saying something like, like, I've seen what broken families do. And like, I think this is an opportunity for all of our families to come together. Even in his death, he's doing something good for us right now. And so it's like, just to change the narrative of like, yo, yeah, I know it's sad, and I know y'all feel like I'm gonna come up here and flip a chair, but yo, I am still blessed to have experienced him and to have the experiences that I have because it's going to make me a better father. And after I laid him to rest, my son came that next month, bro. And I named him Hattress because I'm like, yo, now the Hattress that you know is me. And so now I'm a full-time dad. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like
Right.
you can't I can't you don't have no other example of a Hattress besides me.
Right.
Right. So it's like the curse is lifted. Is now it's up to me to make sure that you take pride in your name, that you take pride in where you came from and who your father is. And I'm gonna make sure that I don't even know how I got there, bro. Like, I'm sorry, like
Nah, you
that
good. You
story was
good.
just on me.
Nah, you good. You good. That you good.
Cause
Cause
I think what was the question? Because I know I started going.
nah, you good. You good. Cause it's like I talk about your right your the subject matter of your writing, like if you wrote about one type of subject more than another, or do you feel like you just write from the heart? So
I just write, bro.
you on point.
Yeah, I just write, bro. And it's like certain things are cool with other people and certain things are not, right? But it's like
Right.
that's not my job to dictate that. You know what I mean?
Have you like regarding that situation with your pops, have you used your writing to help you like bring any closure to the situation? Has your writing helped you do that, or was it something different?
Oh, so that was the question. It was about the book, right? Like, why did I
Yeah,
put the book out? And I
yeah.
put the book out just to answer that, close that up. I put the book out. He was born in July. I put the book out in October because I collected all of the poems that I had, figured out how to do it, put it out. Cause I'm like, yo, how can I tell him he can do anything he wants to do? And I've been sitting for 15 years with this book. So it's like it's my duty and obligation to make sure that I do everything that I said I'm going to do as a model for him. Because if I don't do that, he doesn't even feel like he can. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, so that was my motivation. Like, I'm gonna put this out. It's dedicated to him. It's dedicated to my mother. It's dedicated to my fiance. But speaking of that, my next book, you mentioned my father. My next book is literally it's called where there's smoke, right? And the end of that phrase is there's fire, right? Like, so
Yeah.
my pops was an avid cigarette smoker, and I always remember that. So my next book is literally my relationship with my pops and how that affected all of my other relationships. So it's like a guide to fatherhood for the fatherless people. So that's where I'm going with that next book. It's coming out next year, but that's what I'm working on right now.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, I'm sure you heard the word representation thrown around in different circles for various different reasons, right? When it comes to you and your writing, overall, how important is it to you that you're making sure that you're representing yourself in your totality through your writing. When you're talking about everything that makes you who you are, as a black man, as a man, background, education, culture, all the things that make you who you are. How important is it to you that you're representing yourself through your work?
Very important. I think that that has gotten me in trouble. Like
How
over the
so?
past couple of years because like, I tell everybody like I'm a person first. I'm not a brand, right? Like and people are so used to brands because they're easily consumed,
Right.
right? So it's like I'm not I'm not as simple as a brand. I'm a complex being. So like
Right.
the the post from Triad from the off Broadway show was going viral as a symbol for Black love, right? And I do love my fiance, right? But I'm still a person.
Right.
I still have things that I'm growing through. I still make mistakes. I still do all of these things, right? So it's like I saw this today, literally. I put out a freestyle to this Leon Thomas song called Mutt. And this is just a rap, right? Like I thought I did well in it. I liked it. I listened back to it a few times, but because the audience is so engaged with this symbol of Black love and I'm gaining a following around it, this is jarring to them because I'm saying some pimp player stuff, right? Like, and it's just like, yeah, I've lived all these lives. This is art. This is
Right.
art.
Right.
Like, I'm not saying this is what I'm doing right now. And
Right.
why are you so invested in what I'm saying and not appreciating it as art? Like this it's a really weird time we're living in where artists can't be artists. They have to be who they say they are, or like at every moment they have to be who other people want them to be. And it's crazy to me. I don't subscribe to it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it.
Yeah, you can't be locked into other people's narratives. You got to be true to yourself because it's
Gotta
like
just be.
why lose yourself just for the sake of a following? It's not worth it.
It's not. It's not. And I seen it and I was like, yeah, I'm never going to be boxed into. So I almost like, that's the Pisces in me. I just start rejecting things. So it's like, oh, you think I'm going to do that? I'm going to do this just because you think I'm going to do that.
Right,
Like,
right,
I'm going to
right,
show you this other side just because I'm a love poet. Okay, now I'm going to say some pimp stuff.
right,
You know what I
right.
mean? Like, it's just what it is for me.
Yeah, just to avoid being locked into a box. I feel you. I feel you completely on that. And that provides the perfect segue to the next segment, because now it's time for Hattress to take the mic.
Oh, I'm
Sure.
here.
All
Okay.
right. So it's your time to do your thing. Share some poetry of your choice. So at this time, the floor is yours.
What do you want to hear?
Whatever's on your mind and heart, bro. You know what I
Because
mean?
you was at the triad, so it's like,
Yeah.
do you want to hear something from there, or do you want to hear something
You
else?
could you could start off with a piece from there from that night.
Okay, okay. Um, yeah, I do magic. Oh, that's a long poem. I do magic. Okay, so this is a poem about the women in my family. I spoke a little bit about my mother, but it wasn't just my mother who raised me. It was a collection of strong Black women who raised me that instilled my morality and understanding of the world. And so I thank God for them. So I wanted to honor them in a poem. And this is the poem. It's called Magic. And excuse my voice. I'm a little under the weather if you can't tell. You know what I mean? I know I sound nasally, but we're going to get through it. Um, I said, the women in my family are magic. See, I have witnessed them transform tragedy into triumph, cradling self-esteem and rocking pain to sleep with lullabies that soothe the average beast like me. See, I've seen them look dead in the eyes and laugh like only a Black woman could. With enough cocoa butter and shade to even out all of my dark places. With enough snaps, neck rolls, and hand claps to let you know when they ain't playing. Enough fortitude to last generations because as we all know, Black, it just don't crack like that. I see when my mother died. These women literally put the men on their back and carried us to understanding. When my uncle died, they were the only ones to not cry. The only ones to allow for us men to be both vulnerable and safe. You see, this is what God must feel like. They say, they say that the burden of strength, it always lies with the wise. Well, these women birth boulders and can move mountains with their mouths. I remember overhearing conversations in the kitchen, and if y'all know anything, y'all know ain't nothing more magical than four black women in one kitchen. See, I watched them there, conjuring feasts fit for kings. With recipes passed on from elders I have never seen, but always knew they love me still to this day just by the way my fruit tasted. I watched them there, gracefully stirring pots, measuring by hand just the right amount that's good for your soul. See, they were good for your soul like church, because the kitchen, it was praise and worship. The kitchen, it was knees on a pew and invitations to forgiveness. And these women were extensions of God. These women were fried chicken, collards, and turkey neck bones, baked mac and cheese, gizzards, and gluten-filled bread because gluten-free just don't taste the same. These women were seasoning, picked from the earth and packaged in tough love, raw, salty, and sweet. These women have survived fires and lived to tell of smoke, of rubble, of ash that blows in the wind like strange fruit on Mississippi trees. They have seen their fathers die by the hands of whites and still manage to smile. They have seen their mothers go from matriarchs to forgotten by the history books and still encouraged us to read until we can write until it is right, until monuments are erected in their honor. And even if they aren't, at least all of y'all will know that this little black boy came from a loving family. So it amazes me how hearing the rumblings of an empty stomach was the only motivation they needed. How they withdrew pain from wounds I never knew I had. How they had love etched on the insides of their arms so that every hug had the power of healing. How they knew honey and ginger and apple cider vinegar worked better than anything a doctor could ever prescribe. I have no idea. I said the women in my family are magic. I swear. And I just want them to know that that monument they've been waiting for has always been right here, home. Maybe I need some honey and ginger and all that right now.
That
Um,
was fire, no question.
I appreciate that. I got a few more for you though. I don't know if you doing the Q&A right after each piece, or do I just go into?
Yeah, you go in, you do your thing, and I'll come in after you're done.
Okay. So this poem, bear with me. I haven't done it in a while, but um, I wrote this during the pandemic, during COVID, and I wrote like a COVID series because my whole framework is like as poets, we are historians, we are journalists of the times, and who would I be if I didn't speak about my experience with the world at every single point? So this is part one of the COVID series. I have like five of them, but like this is just the first part. This is what I was seeing during that time while I was not at work and just out and about. Uh, Trust me, heaven and hell ain't that far apart. Old pennies on landlines be the new strange fruit, or what's that to a city of teeth besides a peasant's plate? A homeless man laughed at me the other day because he got more money than a blue collar, and as for me, the only well I wish for is filled with whiskey. That's my take on my alcoholism. You know, most drunk drivers don't even know they driving. They say the road to hell is paved with good intentions, so it makes sense then that an empty cork sounds more like a car crash. Is there a God that lies in the middle of senseless? I think that's what we call capitalism. Yo, just throw Harlem in front of the name of any new cafe, and then you have the gentrified starter kit. Old burdened buildings used to be praise and worship stations before Satan walked in smoking a cigarette. Now, ain't that some nigga shit? These white folks get on a tour bus every weekend and come get a spectacular spectacle. I bet the sunset from Project View got less sense than our criminal justice system. It gets busy in Babylon where everybody fighting to be. As above, so is below. Heaven and hell ain't that far apart anyway. Matter of fact, they might just be the same place. Who knows? So yeah, that was part one of what I was watching during the pandemic. It's like a four-part series. I don't have the other four memorized, so I could give you another poem. I got one more in me.
Yeah, yeah. Do your thing.
Uh,
It's cool.
that's it. I got one more.
Yeah.
So this poem is I wanted to write a black poem to honor like some of the lineage, and I wanted it to be kid friendly and more history packed. So yeah, this mind is a museum of mistakes turned miracle. Moments that may mean nothing to you, but to us are monumental. This method of making matter out of discarded pain, alchemy, started before a pencil ever touched a page. Alchemy is the ability to create out of nothingness. Funny, since black absorbs and not reflects, well, don't that make us everything? I've seen brothers put together the freshest fit out of Target while still being target practice for law enforcement. I seen mothers do that same thing Jesus did with a loaf of bread and a few slices of boar's head. Don't confuse this magnificence for a magic trick. Just admire the way we lean on this passion. Oh yeah, we be some activists, packed full with black pride and black fists, black joy and black twist texture, 4C like buzzing apartments. We be both bee and honeycomb. We be the children of James Baldwin and Nina Simone. We be that bop, that sway of thought, that bounce, that funk that oceans couldn't wash off, that course of a heavy tongue. But of course, that be the anchor and compass to our course, the deep connection to dialect and deity, the closest thing to God that there will ever be. And we be all that and still some more. And we be still here like all you seen on flat tops, using life experiences as a backdrop. So when they try to padlock opportunities, we be Assassin's Creed and Skeleton Key. We be slang like clicking tongues, rolled L's, stifled consonants vibrating off of golden grills, these golden years seeping out of our mouths. I told you my body be saxophone. I told you my body be clarinet. Puck cheeks of hornblowers, ruminated winds and exasperated tunes. We be all that jazz. And speaking of jazz, we made that too. Black creators, we be necessary. And don't you dare let anybody tell you any differently. And that's my piece. Thank you so much, King.
Oh, those are
I
fire.
know you.
That's fire material, man. No question. No question.
I'm
Awesome.
sorry you had to listen to me get through all of that with a cold. I know
Nah,
that
man, I
sounded
appreciate you
crazy.
coming through, man, even though you're not feeling all 100%, man, but it was still fire material, man. I appreciate you and your time, man. Word. It's dope,
Thank
dope
you.
material, man. Um, like what, like if you could collaborate with any poet, living or deceased, who would it be and why?
Ooh. So many, so many. I like the living poets. I've been trying. I don't know what happens, but let's just stick with the deceased because I don't know what's
Yeah,
going on.
yeah.
Um, Deceased. Oh man. I mean, the two that I said, James Baldwin and Maya, but they're not performance poets,
Okay.
right? So it's like I don't know what a collaboration would look like for them,
Right.
right? But for me, I wouldn't even want to collaborate. I would just want to be in the room with them.
Yes,
You know
yes.
what I'm saying?
Yes.
Like just be there, a fly on the wall, and just like, or actually, what's better than being a fly on the wall is being an actual person there that like just to have a conversation because I feel like so
Right.
much wisdom will be gained. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
But as far as like newer age poets, like collaboration, I don't know if you're familiar with Cito Blanco.
Nah, I never heard of him.
Cito Blanco is dope. Like he's one of the people who, when I first started doing poetry, I found his page first, and then we ended up being in the New York scene, and like he was well advanced, but he was such a good guy that like we had conversations in DMs. So
Okay.
like if he saw me, yo, Hat, what up? Like you know what I mean? And it's a lot
Wow.
of poets that don't move like that. Like you know what I'm saying? Like he's a genuine person. So it's like off that strength alone, and then also he's an awesome poet. So it's like that's going to be in my mind. Like he don't know it yet. I'm saying it on here first, but like that's the next collab in my mind. Like we got to do something that pushes the culture. Cause
That's what's
like,
up.
yo, that's my Brody. I love him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just
Okay.
as a person, as a genuine person. Like, you know what I mean?
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, when all is said and done, what would you hope to accomplish with your work?
Touch at least one soul.
Mm,
Um,
most
I'm
definitely.
not in it. I'm not in this so that you can remember me. I'm not in this to make money. I make enough money outside of this. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm in this for change. I'm in this for impact. I'm in this for our future, like our kids, like to know that they can do whatever they want to do, to know that they have a voice. So it's like I'm trying to use my life as a model for the people who are discouraged, like the people who feel like all they see from their hood is what I saw from my hood, right? And it's like I came up in a place where you either play basketball or you rap or you sell drugs.
Right.
Like literally. And it sounds cliche, but it be real. Like when you come from certain hoods, like that's really what it is.
Yeah.
And so like me being a poet, you know how long it took them to get used to that?
Mhm.
But without the jokes, without the you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
and to the point, I still get the jokes, right? But it's at the same time, it's like I'm so confident in who I am as a person at 36 years old. Like, you might want to come over here and come holler at me. I could give you an opportunity or something. Like, you
Right.
know what I mean? Like, that's where
Right.
I'm at with it. So it's like it changes the narrative one person at a time. But it's like that's what my goal is. My goal is to change the narrative of like, yo, be great. Whatever you do, be great. Do what you want to do. You know what I
De-
mean? Like your life is your life, and do it.
Definitely. Definitely. That's what's up. Now, you mentioned the next book coming up. Do you have any other projects or events that you would like to mention before we close out?
Events. I'm gonna be in Atlanta from Friday to Monday at the Natural Hair Show at the Georgia Convention Center. Shout out to the Talib Waheed brand and the
Nice.
Natural Hair Show brand. Shout out to them for booking me and getting me out there. I love that for them. Also, April 29th, Ballygarry is a venue in Harlem, but my homeboy is a sommelier, and he's throwing an event. And I've worked with him before, and he's amazing. So he typically dabbles in like black-owned wine brands
Mhm.
and brings them like a cultured tasting, which is going to be amazing. All that information is in my bio, but also just check out the book. Check out the first book if you want to get it. You know what I mean? Like I just sold out, but it's on Amazon. If ever we were, it's there. And yeah, that's about it. I'm just chilling. I have some things coming up this summer. Shout out to the Soapbox. Shout out to the Soapbox. If you're familiar with the Soapbox, I'm working on something with them. It's going to be amazing. And then I'm working on a project with Timbaland that's supposed to be happening in July. But
Nice.
that's about it. Yeah.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Now, for those not familiar with you already, where are you? Where can you be found on social media?
Got you. My name is Hattress, like Masters with the H, but please don't sleep on me. You can find me at I am underscore Hattress on Instagram. I am not a rapper on TikTok. And also Hattress Barbour on Facebook. I'm there. If you want to check out my website, it's www.iamhattress.com. You can find all things Hattress there.
Nice, nice. That's what's up, man. So as we close, my brother, I just want to take one more moment to say thank you. I appreciate your time. I know you're not wasn't feeling 100%, but I'm still appreciate you coming through and doing your thing. You know, you still lit the mic, even though you're not 100%, you still lit up the mic. So I do appreciate you, man. I appreciate
Yo,
the
I had to, and it's happy belated birthday. I didn't
yeah.
say it on the record. I know I said it before, but happy belated birthday. I wasn't gonna miss this for the world. So I appreciate you for having me up here. I appreciate you for reaching out. I appreciate you for being at the triad and seeing that. Like, so it's like, yo, shout out to you, man. Like, you're definitely a dope individual, and I would love to like continue our relationship and keep working with you, bro.
Most definitely, most definitely. Thank you, man. Thank you, man. And for those of you watching, coming up tonight at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I'm going to be having a conversation with Newark-based poet God Sense, another awesome poet who lights up the mic in his own right. So stay tuned for that conversation. I'm looking forward to connecting with him as well. Connect with me. Y'all can connect with me through email, poetswithpurpose@gmail.com. I'm online now, poetswithpurpose@wordpress.com. All of my flyers and logos were designed by the awesome team at Eclipse Graphics. Hit them up at Instagram at sign Eclipse Graphics NY, or you can go to their website, eclipsegraphicsny.com. Lastly, any of you interested in making a donation, you can do so through PayPal, Tap Media Man, $ Anointed Pen through Cash App, or through Zelly, utilizing my phone number. And that's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. This episode will be uploaded to the Poets with Purpose YouTube channel within the next hour. So be on the lookout for that upload. So y'all can then share the video with your social media channels. Bro, appreciate you. Thank you for coming through. Big thank you to my audience and all of my supporters. Y'all have a good night and God bless. Thank you. Peace, bro.
Thank you, bro.
All right. God bless, man. Thank you.
God bless.